On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari swears in Tanko Mohammed as Chief Justice of Nigeria. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria to ban importation of milk and other dairy products. And on the foreign scene, Boris Johnson officially sworn in as new British Prime Minister. Hello and welcome to SuperScreen's flagship news. We're broadcasting to you live from our Lagos studios in Nigeria. I am Olamide Onwuka. Many thanks for joining us. We'll begin with the story where Justice Tanko Mohammed has been sworn in as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the CJN. The swearing-in was done at the Presidential Villa Abuja in the presence of notable service chiefs and stakeholders who served as witnesses along with President Muhammadu Buhari. Justice Mohammed, while taking his oath of office, pledged not to allow personal interest override his official decisions in office.
I, Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties and perform my functions honestly, best of my ability, and faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law. That I will abide by the code of conduct contained in the 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That
Speaking to journalists after his swearing-in, the new Chief Justice promised to uphold the unity and legitimacy of the judiciary while ensuring the fairness of the judiciary is not compromised. On his part, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed lauded the appointment of Justice Tanko Mohammed, describing it as a welcome development for democracy in the country.
You see, we are still learning, but I'm proud to say that Nigerian judiciary, I'm sure, is one of the best in Africa. Now, if you take a look at our judicial officers, all of us are fully trained, and all of us are almost at intervals going on courses, so that we remind ourselves of the ethics that is binding on us. Therefore, we pray that with the cooperation of the citizens of this country, Nigerian judiciary will be a very big judiciary, and we hope it will be successful during our tenure.
And exhilarated by this very auspicious appointment to our brother, our elder brother, who has distinguished himself as a jurist, somebody of very high integrity. The whole state where I represent is excited by his appointment, and indeed the country, because he is going to bring pedigree, professionalism, and excellence to the judiciary.
Justice Tanko Mohammed, who hails from Bauchi State, will become the 18th Chief Justice of Nigeria. To other story now, lawmaker representing Federal Capital Territory, FCT, in the Senate, Philip Aduda, has protested the non-inclusion of any Abuja indigene in the 43-man ministerial list sent to the National Assembly for screening and confirmation. Senator Aduda, who cited the Senate standing rules during Wednesday's plenary, urged President Muhammadu Buhari to democratize the system of governance in the FCT. According to Aduda, stripping the powers of the National Assembly and State Assembly for FCT would address the issue.
I would like to also go to raise a constitutional point of order, which is Section 299. The provision of this Constitution shall apply to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, as if it were one of the states of the Federation. Mr. President, Section 147 goes ahead to say, there shall be such offices of ministers of the government of the Federation as may be established by the President. And Section 47.3 says any appointment under subsection 3 of this section by the President shall be in conformity with the provision of Section 14(3) of the Constitution, which talks about federal character. Mr. President, the list for ministers were submitted yesterday, and out of the list of the nominees, there were 43 of them, and to the surprise of my constituents and myself, we did not find any nominee from the FCT. And my constituents have asked me to come with a loud voice to say that this National Assembly is the State House of Assembly for the people of the FCT. And as such, they are depending on the National Assembly to help and ensure that there's equity for the people of the FCT.
Supporting the motion, Senator Dino Melaye cited some sections of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which states that the FCT should be treated as if it were a state.
Section 297 of the Constitution says there shall be a federal capital territory, Abuja, the boundaries of which are defined in Part 2 of the first schedule of the Constitution. And if you read through ABC, it also said that the federal capital territory shall be treated as if it were one of the states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, I'm not dragging us back, but that's Section 299, specifically A. It said all the legislative powers, the executive powers, and the judicial powers vested in the House of Assembly, the governor of a state, and the courts shall respectively vest in the National Assembly, the President of the Federation in the courts, which by virtue of the foregoing provisions, courts are established for the Capital Territory, Abuja, also in terms of the judiciary. What I'm saying in essence, Mr. President, is that to give a constitutional teeth to the appeal by the representative of the FCT, it is not a matter of appeal by the Senate. It is a constitutional point of duty.
Order 43, personal explanation, this is not debatable. But I want to say that this is an executive function, and you have made the point very loudly, to borrow your word, and I'm sure the executive will take the appropriate action as quickly as possible.
To other stories now, reactions have trailed the ministerial list sent to the Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari as the main opposition party. The People's Democratic Party's National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodinyo, says it is full of incompetent and failed men. Also, the president of the Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, Professor Biodun Guyemi, says the president's list lacks innovation, noting that the president did not attach portfolios to the names of the nominees. Just as others say the president's ministerial list is colorless, stagnant, uninspiring, and does not convey any sense of hope or purposelessness for the governance. And now the Deputy Senate President, Ovie Omagege, says Nigerians deserve a better deal under the next level agenda of the current administration. A statement by his media office in Abuja, the Deputy President of the Senate disclosed this at the 2019 summit of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, APBN. Omagege, who was represented by Special Advisor on Legislative and Plenary Matters, Efe Duku, said the 9th National Assembly will evoke legislative interventions to achieve national development as contained in the next level agenda of the current administration. In other stories now, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has asked the federal government to adopt the reward and punishment strategy in dealing with continued protests of the members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, IMN, and avoid further loss of lives. The NLC, in a statement by its president, Ayuba Waba, said the use of carrot and stick approach to deal with the current situation is not a sign of weakness. Waba asked members of the sector to be guided by the principles of peaceful protest, urging security forces to be civil in dealing with the situation and not to turn their gun at the protesters. Away from that now, the People's Democratic Party, PDM, one of the political parties that dragged President Muhammadu Buhari and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, before the Presidential Election Tribunal, has applied to withdraw its petition challenging the outcome of the last presidential election. According to reports, PDM lawyer Aliyu Lemu told the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal that his client has instructed him to apply a withdrawal of the petition. The lawyer then moved to apply the application. In other stories, the United States has imposed the visa restrictions on some Nigerians for undermining the democratic process in the country during the 2019 general elections. The U.S., in a statement by its department spokesperson, Morgan Ortagus, in Washington, said the visa restrictions will affect Nigerians believed to be responsible for undermining democracy in the country. Ortagus said the U.S. had earlier warned in its statement on January 24th that the American government will consider consequences, including visa restrictions, for individuals responsible for undermining the Nigerian democratic process or for organizing election-related violence. In Edo State now, where Nigerians have been charged to strive to alleviate the sufferings of the downtrodden and needy, especially the internally displaced persons in the society. This charge was given by a team of doctors who visited the IDP camp at the Hogwa community in Ovia Northeast local government area of Edo State.
Being doctors, we are trained humanists, and we said this is one part of our charitable work we do. It's called Doctor's Time Out. It's you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit with your friends, relax, even share a drink. But while doing that, you think of how you can better the society. Like if you look at the situation of this place, they need all the help they can get. As you can see for yourself, most of the children here are orphans. So this is even an orphanage home in quotes. Although some of them say have parents, some don't even know where their parents are. So the whole situation is quite disheartening.
These beneficiaries expressed their gratitude to the doctors.
I see the children, they are all happy, rejoicing over what is happening today. I feel very, very happy. We have more than 4,000 of them here. Feeding them daily, at least for a meal. We cook 15 bags of rice just per meal. And we have to make eba. We use 10 bags of gari, that's 50 kg bags of gari to make eba per meal. And just, in fact, it's really enormous.
We need books, we need equipment for our library, we need teachers, good qualified teachers, we need materials, school materials, and we also need clothes for the children that are in need of clothes.
In fact, for the love that you show to us, we are very grateful. We want to thank you so much. I'm very, very happy today for putting smiles on my face. I thank you for everything that you have done for us in the sake of this camp, IDP camps. I appreciate you all.
Away from that now to the education sector, where Golden Anchor Group of Schools has held its 2019 graduation ceremony. At the occasion, students were admonished to remain focused on their academic pursuit. SuperScreen's Nkiruka Ibe was there and now reports.
Anchor Group of Schools Lagos held its 12th graduation ceremony, an event to celebrate its graduates from nursery, primary to secondary. Speaking to SuperScreen, proprietor of the school, Matthew Oladele, advised the graduating students, particularly those going to higher institutions, to take their academic pursuits seriously, while admonishing parents and guardians to guide their children on what are right.
I also want to congratulate all those who are graduating today, starting from nursery 2 pupils, primary 6 pupils, junior secondary school 3, and senior secondary 3. I'm here to see every parent that we see children like this not be happy. Especially if your child is graduating today. It's a thing of joy. My prayer is that these children that are our joy, God will not allow anything to take them away from us in Jesus' name.
Today we are celebrating academic excellence in the life of our students. They've gone through rigorous teaching and learning for over 6 years, and in the case of primary schools, at the same time 6 years. So I think it is worthy to celebrate them and usher them to the next level. Well, my advice for the graduates, those who are leaving the secondary school, going into the world, is to be more focused. They have not really started. They've just, this is just the beginning of their life, because they're going to life to the tertiary institution. As many of them are going to the university, they're just starting. They should not rest on their house. They should endeavor to be the best.
Some parents, in their remarks, lauded the school for its academic standard, just as the graduating students whose joy knew no bounds expressed gratitude to the school.
Well, my advice to the graduating student is that this is just the starting point. You know, they are going into the world to meet a lot of things. You know, what we are saying is that since they've started in a Christian way, they should continue like that.
Academic calendar starts from September and ends in July. So for God's faithfulness, keeping the pupils, the parents, from July to September the year, this is a time to thank God, and it's also an opportunity where you move everybody, even from they move to another phase of life.
It's a great experience for me to have been in Golden Anchor. I really appreciate it. I just look forward to seeing Golden Anchor like more than what I am living today, because already what I'm living in that school today is more than what I can just say or explain with just a word.
Today I'm graduating from this school, from the SS3 class. Okay, it's a great joy for me and my fellow classmates to graduate from this school. And I wish myself and my classmates the best in their future.
My expectations are that when I leave the school, I will become a better person because of the foundation that my school has enveloped in me. The school has already implanted some things in me that are of good qualities, which will also make me become a better person in life.
I'm graduating from primary 6 class. I love my school. My school is the best school in the world. They teach us very well. They don't change teacher. We have at least 3 teachers in a class to teach us. They have good quality teachers, good security, everything about I just love my school.
Performances such as cultural dance, spelling bee, and a host of others were presented to the delight of all. Outstanding students and pupils were presented awards for their academic excellence. In Kiruka Ibe, SuperScreen TV News.
You're still watching SuperScreen's flagship news tonight. We'll take a break at this time. Coming up, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to ban importation of milk and other dairy products. That's in business. We'll bring you details of this story and more after this break. Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. And now for stories in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it will place a ban on the importation of milk and other dairy products into the country. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who made this known to journalists at the end of the bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja, said between $1.2 billion and $1.5 billion is spent yearly to import milk into the country. Emefiele said it will start the rejuvenation of moribund textile mills in the country. The Apex governor stressed that the CBN held several meetings with milk importers, first being about 3 years ago after the introduction of forest restrictions on over 40 items. Still talking business, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing says an increase in electricity tariff can only be justified by widespread provision of meters and improved service delivery to customers. The ministry, which disclosed this in a new document called the Power Sector Policy Directives and Timelines, said it directed the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, to clearly convey the need for tariff review consistent with provisions of Section 76 of the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005. According to the ministry, the current consumer tariff must rise to cover all the costs of gas, transmission and distribution, noting that it is necessary for distribution companies to raise capital for the industry to be self-sustaining. Still in business now, the Special Presidential Investigation Panel for Recovery of Public Assets and Properties has summoned the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari, over alleged $1.8 billion owed the federal government by Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited, ExxonMobil. The summons signed by the panel's chairman, Okoye Obonobla, directed Kyari to appear before the panel unfailingly on July 30th. According to reports, the panel had on June 13, 2018 addressed a letter to Mobile's managing director at the Mobile House in Lagos, giving the company 3 weeks to pay the alleged outstanding balance of about $1.9 billion to the federal account. However, ExxonMobil had denied the indebtedness in a series of correspondences addressed to the panel, including its reply dated July 5th, 2018. Still ahead tonight on SuperScreen's flagship news, Boris Johnson officially sworn in as the British Prime Minister. That's on the foreign scene. We'll bring you details of this story and more after this break.